I mean, it's slow. It's slow.
Good on you.
Oh,
Carolyn.
Carolyn. Yeah.
Carolyn.
Yeah.
Awesome. What are you doing here?
I'm here to leverage my morning ascent to go find some business. So I'm doing some juice.
Changing diapers, bud?
I am. That's about it right now. Because I'm so I'm
might get arrested
off the mask on and change diapers. That's all I can do.
Not expose
But
yourself
it's so nice.
yet while we're here.
That's awesome.
Alright, you ready to go? Greg's ready. He's giving me the let's get going eyes.
There ain't no reason you and me should be alone tonight, yeah, baby, tonight, yeah, baby.
I demand myself to sophisticated sex towards the I realize that I am not my mind. Therefore, I will concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes in on that first I get to come. Here I am, I'm my spirit. I know that there are problems yet. Maybe that I said this whole lot of time. Therefore, I will attend to you and myself. Lord, I have cleared it down. I'll never stop that. I follow the red car. That's no fun to be done. Therefore, I'll let you know right next. And while very hungry, I will get paid for empty house. Now, listen, I love you for long, because I know the things that never be said. I'll not let you be, and myself. I will sign my name for you. Liz, memory, read you out loud. What the name? Won't be back. I'll pack. I must myself as a person. Well, Jeff, this is what I have with all the tax, I'm here to sort of what I dedicate one afternoon to my mom. Two, I like Three, I already have a career. My phone, answering person, and my young woman. Four, and I know how to put contact with I go on the Five, I call on my phone. Six, I say my friend. Seven, I am waiting for my Eight, I am going to send you Nine, I call on my Ten, I felt really like it for my 11, I was ready to start off. 12, I'll take a pile of my bring on my sign my street. My work is less time, less respect. I don't know what says my therefore, I will do all that. Woo! Now in the Lord! Now in the Lord! I will leave not fall! I will leave not fall! I will leave not down! I will break not store! I will break not store! I am persecuted! I am persecuted! I am a leader! I am a leader! The 5 yard! The 5 yard! 7 10! Get up! Get up! Get up! Every day. Just make sure that I start running in the park. My ability to keep street. I can tell I get a step. I'm masquerading to break. My heart is big. I'm gonna have a strong. And they hate to tear my heart. My heart is here with one percent. I think I have one. I think I hear what already played. I don't know what my head. I try to get it. I got it. I feel I have a I have my life. Maybe that's the evil. I'm losing heart. I am one of you. I am happy. I am so happy. I am so good. I am okay. I am
Happy Friday. First Friday in May. It snowed this week. It's going to be sunny this week. It's going to be hot this weekend.
It's called bipolar.
Bipolar weather system. Love it. Gratitude, victories.
I have a small one, just a personal one.
Okay.
I sat down, well, and I just did it in here too. I did it yesterday a little bit, but it wasn't Friday yet. So I evaluated my week, thinking about things that I had accomplished, because I haven't really been doing that, and I just felt like I've been all over the place. But one of the things I did accomplish was my morning schedule. I actually have stuck to it this week.
Wow,
and
good
if
job.
I can get to 2 o'clock and move on, and
Nice.
cause I just go like that after 2.
Yeah.
So it's progress. I think
That is progress. That is great. Yeah. Good job on mastering your morning this week. Just takes little steps. Little steps, big victories. Yes, Rick.
I'm really grateful to see the people getting better who are coming in role play. It's so gratifying to me to see how people are truly choosing to get better. And when they come in here and do that, you know, that's extremely fulfilling for me. And I am grateful that they're willing to go push through that pain of rejection and how hard it is to just really realize where your skill level's at and realize, man, I need a lot of work. I'm grateful for those who are willing to do that. It's a lot of fun for me, so.
Yeah, thank you for everyone who's showing up and supporting that. So, and even if you're practicing on your own, that's one thing in this business that's, I think, neglected is the amount of time it takes to get good at this job and practice. So hopefully that's part of your schedule. Anybody else? Victories this week. Real estate. Any real estate happen?
My clients went under contract from the home they want to buy.
Yeah?
Nice.
Nice. How'd you get the clients?
My lender actually teed it up for me. She gave me a pre-approved client
So relationships.
whatsoever. Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
wow.
Good job. Yeah, that's great. April.
I already mentioned to you, but last week was really exciting because I had 2 closings, 2 listings,
Wow.
2 buyers under contract,
Oh.
2 more listing appointments. So that was a
Wow.
good week.
Last week was brought to you by Q, right?
Wow.
Good job.
That is
awesome.
a good week.
You're gonna close them 2 at a time too?
That's right.
If you just do 2 a week,
Right?
that's awesome.
And then I already told Jason this too, but
But nobody
2
else.
of my client, or like one of my new listings, the house she ended up buying, they're switching properties, which is
Oh,
so
really?
funny.
Uh,
But it's kind of fun.
Well, and it's a credit to you on being able to connect the dots.
yeah.
Because sometimes, you know, we kind of get this tunnel vision of like, this is the client, this is what they want, and then you get another client, this is what they want, and you were able to bring that together, and now it's going to be a smooth transaction, and
That's
You
awesome.
get
one's going to live in the other.
2 deals, you get 4 deals.
Right. 4 sides. Yeah.
So
Actually 2 sides, but on that one, because they have their own filter, but still.
Oh,
Oh, gotcha.
but that's still cool. That's really cool.
That's
that
awesome.
is.
Nice job. Any other real estate this week?
Good week.
Anybody doing anything this weekend? John?
So, I had a week appointment, I canceled it and went door knocking.
Good job.
Yep.
Very impressive.
Okay, so today, I don't think we have anything different. New book, Max Out Your Life, really short. You could probably read it over the weekend. I just started it, I think it was yesterday. Great book. So grab that book.
Have you seen him in a video?
The what?
The guy's awesome.
Have I seen what?
That
What did you ask?
guy, have you seen him in a video, interview or anything?
No.
He's awesome.
Okay, yeah, so there's a testimonial right there. So I'm just like 5 pages into the book, and I think it's going to be a good book. So you can watch some of his video stuff, Max Out Your Life. So awesome. If you're going to do the golf tournament, start signing up now. Anybody doing that? Anybody can golf? Sean, I know you golf. You always go. Anybody else going to go?
I'm looking for a team if anybody knows of anybody
Okay. It's a fun opportunity. Plus, it's for a good cause.
I don't think I would be
Toastmasters. What's that? You don't have to be good. It's a scramble. As long as one person on the team hits it straight, the rest of us can just play.
You know what they say?
No, I don't know what they say, but should we let them say it?
Swing hard in case you hit it.
Swing hard in case you hit it. I like it.
That's the golf advice you can possibly get.
It's true. There's a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun that goes into that too. So anyway, you gotta have a little bit of fun in this business, right, Dan? Or it just gets mundane and boring and hard, right? So speaking of which, we're gonna talk a little bit in this business, mindset. How important is mindset?
Crucial.
Crucial. Okay. Does it affect us on a daily basis?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about one of the things that I feel hurts our mindset the most in business. And we're going to base it off of some skills. So I'm going to pass out this thing we're going to talk about today called pre-qual. Okay? How many pre-qual every single time they have an appointment? Every single time.
Every single time?
Every single time. Okay? Nobody? Well, that's a good reason. That's why we're talking about it today. Because here, I personally believe, and I want your guys' feedback on this too, because it doesn't necessarily matter what I think, it matters what you guys think on this. But I feel like when we work so hard every day to get our mindset at a certain level to do business, and then we have some appointment that isn't qualified and it wastes our time. Anytime where somebody wastes our time, I feel like it really drops our mindset. What do you guys think about that? Like somebody calls you on the phone, wastes 5 minutes of your time, and then gets off the phone. How do you feel about that?
Annoyed.
Annoyed? Yeah. Okay. What else?
So, let's break that off the second part.
No. If you have one, we're good. I just needed some extras. There's
Oh,
only
did
like
you?
2 extras. Yeah.
Oh, it's no, you don't have it.
Holy shit.
I know.
Yep.
Anybody not have what I just handed out?
Are you
There
talking
you
about?
You only need
Question.
one. You only need one paper unless you got the
New one.
new one. And you
Sorry.
got a double paper.
So you're
Yeah.
talking about when you go on an appointment or it doesn't work out because you didn't pre-qual, how do you feel?
How do you feel about that?
Confrontational
Confrontational. Okay, with
them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I can see how that would be. John.
So I've had four appointments this week, one of which I canceled. The one I canceled, I knocked door. She called me just based on my card. There was a sign with there was a signpost, no sign in the yard.
Uh-huh.
So he called me. He's like, yeah, no, it's for sale. I want offers. Oh well, great. I might want to buy it, but I'm not sure if I can get you what you want, what you need. And we talked for a while. He's like, yeah, if you don't want to buy it, I have an agent with homie. I'm gonna relist with him. He would. I'm all, are you sure? We went into that, and so we did schedule an appointment, but it's only if I was gonna buy it, and I did the comps. And
You weren't gonna buy it.
there's no way he'd take what I'd be willing to offer, and so I just canceled.
Yeah. So that's the importance of pre-qualifying, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say that you didn't do that and you went out there. What do you like? What happens? Just kind of when you get confrontational with them. That's one.
Well,
What else can it do?
I get
feel?
sick of knocking doors if I keep going to dumb appointments because that's all knocking doors is getting. But if I qualify, then I go on good appointments and I enjoy knocking doors.
Okay. So it leads to enjoying more of the activity itself. Sean.
You start to question your skills.
Yeah. Yeah, question your skills, like try to justify, well, this is why I went out there and lose some of the faith in your skills. Okay, I like that. Good answer. Okay, what else?
So it can be exhausting because sometimes you'll find a lead and well, at least for me, can waste over the span of months, and then it's just at the end like, oh, they're finally exposed that they're either talking to somebody else or something like that.
Yeah, so you wasted months on that,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we make decisions emotionally. Even us analyticals, Greg and I, we even make our decisions emotionally. We just back it up with logic. That's why we feel good about ourselves. But we still make decisions about emotion. So what are some of the emotions that are in real estate? Why is there so much emotion in real estate?
A lot of money involved.
Rejection, a lot of money involved. Okay? So if we've got so many factors that affect our lives, our families, whether we eat today, whether we put gas in our car, all these factors that go in there, we make decisions emotionally. Well, if we make our decisions emotionally and those emotions come back to us as a rejection, how do we feel about that? Crappy.
Takes a toll on our mindset.
Takes a real big toll on our mindset, which is why talking about the pre-qualification that we're going to talk about right now, we're going to go through this. That's why it's so important, because if we can understand how damaging it is to go through that over and over and over. How many of us have leads, this is not directed to you by the way, but have worked leads for a really long time, but have not closed them yet? I mean, we're talking like 6, 8 plus months.
6 to 8 years.
6 to 8 years. Okay? Do you have one you're working 6 to 8 years? I mean, we're talking about like somebody you like legitimately are, not your SOY that you're like, yeah, eventually they're going to buy, but somebody like you legitimately think they are going to buy. You're sending them properties, you're talking to them, you're showing them homes, but they haven't done anything for a really, really, really long time. No? Have you, Sean?
Yeah.
How long? What's the longest you've been working? That you've been actively working with, but they're just not doing anything?
Well, I don't know how consistent I follow up with them. I just touch base with them periodically, but I don't really do anything for it other than, are you ready yet? Okay, well,
Okay, so a year? More?
I've done a year.
A year?
When years ago,
Mm-hmm.
I worked with a buyer for more than a year and a half. And sending homes, going out and looking at homes, looking at exactly that's what this buyer wants, and we get in the home and I don't know. And felt like I was really needed to sell them because I had so much time invested.
Mhm.
I probably should have just cut them loose and licked my wounds and
Yep.
try to find somebody else.
And sometimes they come together in the very end, and you feel like, oh, that might have been worth it. But how much did we lose in the meantime?
Yeah.
See, this business, we've already established it's a mindset game. Okay, we know it's very high. If it's not like 100%, we're probably 80% mindset, 10% skill, 10% who you talk to, right? So if we're establishing that and we're setting it up so that we don't ruin our mind, we have a better chance of succeeding.
The one you were referring to.
No, I wasn't talking about you.
Okay, how I felt was lower self-esteem, because I was pushing 2 years with that buyer.
Yeah.
And I tried to fire myself from it, they wouldn't let me. So I actually felt better after I tried to fire myself.
No.
My self-esteem went up a little bit. I'm out of here, obviously I'm not the agent for you. But they wouldn't accept that.
Yeah. And in the end, it wasn't
Eventually
good.
it paid off and I made $5 an hour.
You did make about probably less than that, but yes, you did break on that. Okay, so that's I go into that there's a low self-esteem part of it. We start really looking and saying, I have worked so hard on this person. I've got to keep them. You're still kicking the dead horse. It will get up. But it doesn't quite yet, right? And every time we do that, it really works on our mind. The challenge is every time that we're put something good in our mind, and build our mindset, when one thing takes it down, it actually doesn't just take it down the equivalent of what you put into it, it actually drops you even further. So every time we go into something like that, we have to rebuild. So when we look at presentations and when we're meeting with people, if we try to take the emotion out of it and just go straight into committing to doing this pre-qualification 100% of the time, no matter what. I'm not going to have emotions attached to this. We're going to actually be able to have our mindset stronger.
Can I just make an observation that occurred to me as we were talking about pre-qualifying?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you come in, you asked me to go ahead and make copies. And I said, sure. Jumped in, went and made copies, opened up the door, come in, started handing them out. Half of you or part of you said, I already have that. No, you don't. This is different. Here. I was in the mode of telling rather than pre-qualifying. If I would have asked more questions, how much time would I have saved in not giving you something you didn't need? Until I got right here, this is the same thing.
How did that affect your mindset?
Well, it was like, you was happy.
He's a little bit pissed.
Because you're going to take what I'm giving you. Take it. It's not. It's different.
I like to say, it's something you role play
I thought
first.
you were in
You finally got to something non-amiable. Like,
That's right. Was it?
it was me.
He said, get your shots together.
So, Eric Osman, he transferred down to St. George on the Brian Burnett's team as a appointment scheduler. And he said a few appointments Brian Burnett went out, and all of a sudden he noticed that his time on the appointment more than doubled. And he came right back to Eric and said, what's your prequel like? Let's do a prequel phone call. And he was not asking number one. If what Brian Burnett says makes sense and you feel comfortable and confident that I can sell your home, are you planning to list with Brian Burnett when he comes out on? Or he asked it, but if there was any pushback, he wasn't.
Yeah.
And so we thought, hey, you have to have an absolutely solid answer on this question. If you don't have a solid answer, get a different appointment. And so we got him doing that, and then under a week, Eric Osman had 2 listings through Brian Burnett.
Yeah. And that's why we're going to go through this right now, because there's questions in here that you may or may not feel comfortable with asking, and that's why you're not asking them. And I want to go through them so we can kind of understand why we're asking each question so that you can feel more comfortable with it. But we had this longer discussion at the start, because what I want you to look at here is we got to take the emotion out of this. We've got to take the emotion out of it because we're making decisions emotionally. If you don't have any money right now and one deal is right there in front of your face, and you're saying, I need to get this deal, you're going to make decisions based on that feeling, and that feeling is going to bring your mindset down, and ultimately, you're going to do less business in the long run because your mindset's going to be lower. So that's what's critical about this.
It's a compounding effect.
Yes.
Because I've been in that pattern.
Yeah.
Probably still right now.
Well, most of us will go in and out of this pattern, and the challenge is we can turn our wills and we can work really, really hard every single day, thinking like I'm busting my butt. I'm talking to 50 people every day, and if our mindset is down, that's what we're getting. Yeah.
How do you get out of that mindset? If you're broke and you need a deal, how do you get to the point to where, okay, no, I'm not broke?
Right.
Great question.
That's a great question. That's exactly why what I'm saying with this pre-qual is it needs to just be part of your business as a standard. This is what I do, and you take the emotion out of it. If we're making decisions based on emotions, we will always go down that rabbit hole, and that is a hard thing to get out of. It's really hard, especially when you need the money. Like, it's really hard to do that. But here's the thing. If I go on 5 appointments, 4 of them waste all my time and bring my mindset down, how strong am I going to be on my 5th appointment?
Exactly.
Okay? So that 5th appointment might be like a slam dunk. Yeah, it's going to happen. And you come out and you just had 4 mindset drainers. You go into that, you're gonna lose it. Somebody
Jason,
else
could I
comes in.
just add to your comment, which is probably the obvious, me being Captain Obvious, but you know, that is when you have to use this even more, because like you said, you don't want to waste your time trying to convince somebody whose motivation isn't that high. The more you need it, the more important this script actually becomes, because you need to get to that next cell.
Yes. Yeah, you really do. And that's the fastest way out of the funk is to get business. Correct. The more business that comes in, the easier mindset stays. So, okay, so let's run through this real quick. Before I come out, there are a number of questions I need to ask you. When would we do a pre-qualification?
Before we go out.
Okay, before we go out. So if my presentation is, so I set an appointment today and it's not till next Tuesday. When would I want to do this?
The next Monday or Tuesday,
Okay, the next Monday or Tuesday. Okay?
or right then.
Okay, if you do it right now, I would suggest you do it a second time before you go out. If you're 3 days more than 3 days out before your appointment, you've got to do this a second time or do it right before the appointment. Okay, this one will keep it in their mind, but it'll also make it fresh for you too. Okay, so if you do it right after you set the appointment, make sure you do it right before the appointment too. Okay, if what I say makes sense, you feel comfortable and confident I can sell your home, and you plan to list your home with me when I come out on whatever time it is. Why would we say that? Does anyone have a problem with this one?
To create an expectation.
Create an expectation.
I think it comes across as you're more professional.
You're more professional.
It'll expose conditions.
Expose conditions. Okay, I like all of those.
And eliminate people.
And objection, it eliminates people. Okay. Another thing that, have you ever set an appointment and when you got off the phone you think, that sounds like a preview appointment, right? This will establish the fact that you're actually coming over there for a purpose, okay? So we say that. Number 2, are you planning to interview more than one agent for the job of selling your home? A lot of times we have a problem with this one. Why would we have a problem with it?
Creates the idea of interviewing other agents.
Yeah, you're giving them an idea that they might not have had. You're going to interview more agents. Okay, so why would we ask this question?
You want to know what you're up against.
You want to know what you're up against? Okay. Okay. What if you're up against Cody Emery?
Big deal.
What if you're up against Curtis?
Jesus.
Well, you just prepare different. You would just prepare different. You would, you know.
Okay. I like
I would
that.
actually go along with Cody, but you know. Curtis, I don't know. I could beat him.
I like that.
I like that.
I'm the best agent for the job. You know?
Ooh.
This one's interesting. This one's interesting because this one plays with our mind. This one plays with our mind a lot. Here's the interesting thing about it. Do we know, as in this room, do we know who some of the top producers in our office and in real estate in general are?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So when someone says that name, we automatically think, oh, well, that's the best agent in the state. They're for sure going to list with them. Most sellers don't have a clue who the best agent out there is. And when they're prospecting, everyone says they're the best agent. So they never know. They don't even know those names.
So like the second second deal I ever did,
Mhm.
they, their house literally faced a house that Justin had for sale. And I didn't know who he was at the time, and the husband asked me like, do you know this guy? I see his signs everywhere, and I'm like, no, I have no idea. And so if you're just going with that idea, I mean, I'm kind of a person who doesn't give a lot of weight to people's like popularity or like their whatever. And so I think if you, not that you don't want to, I guess, know what people are doing, top producers are doing, but at the same time, I don't know that it really helps you that much to know what they're doing, because then you can go in blindly like, oh no, I've never heard of that person. Maybe they're locally famous, but if you really have no idea, then it's easy to say, I've never heard of them. So then they start to think like, oh, maybe they aren't quite as famous. I've just seen signs because it's my neighborhood, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen it every day because it's in
just
front of
kind
my
of
house.
funny because now I do know obviously Justin is, but I was like, no, I have no idea.
And if you say that in your mind here when you read that, and they say who they're meeting with, and it's one of those agents, you've got just as good a chance as anybody out there to take the listing. Yeah, as good a chance. One of the questions that I put on here is if I ask and they say they're meeting with more than one agent, I'll sometimes ask, how will you know if you found the right agent? So just give a little follow-up question for it, just to see what they say. A lot of times it's just gonna be a feeling, but at least you'll know you're dealing with feelings. Yeah.
So the time when I'm least likely to do the pre-qualification in the past was if it's a family friend or a family member. And I have found that that is the time when you have to do the pre-qualification the most.
Almost the most,
And sometimes these questions are a little bit uncomfortable, so how I lead it off is I'll just say, because you're a family member or because you're a friend, I wanna give you the ultimate premium service. And so I'm going to do everything in my system for you, and one of those is reading you these questions. So some of them might feel weird because we're friends, but I wanna do my very best job for you, so I'm gonna stick to my schedule.
Yeah.
And
And
then
if
they
you
go
s-
for it, they're
yeah,
totally fine.
If you set it up at the start, they're gonna be just fine with it. In fact, they're probably gonna appreciate it even more because they'll have the feeling like, well, is she gonna be serious with me because we're family? You know, but you set it up.
I like that.
That's awesome. You set the expectation that I'm really gonna take good care of you because I care about you.
Yeah.
And ready for these questions.
Right.
And it takes the awkwardness out of the questions, because with a family member, they can be awkward.
Yeah.
But once you say it, they're like, oh, just be serious.
It's business mode.
It's business mode. We're time for business mode. All right, number 3. Tell me again where you're moving to. Now, you've already talked to them on the phone. You've already set the appointment. What are the chances you already know where they're moving to? Probably pretty good, because you've already asked them. Okay? Why would we ask it again here? Because in our mind, we're going to say, oh, I already know that. So we're going to skip this question. But why do we need to ask it here again?
Motivations change, wants change.
Motivations change, desires change.
You're reducing
Okay.
fast food real estate.
Ooh,
That sounds good.
I like that.
He got caught on the fast food. But yes, I agree.
Slow it down.
Slow it down. Yeah, it slows it down. It gets it back in the mode of finding out what they're trying to do. This is, I wrote next to this one, I said just dig deeper. Dig deeper on what they're trying to do. You know, everybody's moving somewhere. Great. Why are they moving somewhere? My favorite thing is, I'm selling the house. Why are you selling the house? I want to net more money. Well, if you wanted to net more money for selling your house, you'd have been a real estate agent. That's the bottom line. Like if it was all about money and selling homes, then you'd be a real estate agent like us, because that's what it's about. There's another reason for them selling their house. And that might be the one that we're digging for. Why are you selling your house? Well, we want them to save the money. Why do you want to save the money? What is that going to do for you and your family? You know, dig deep. Find out exactly what their motivation is there, because that's something that will really help you in the presentation. Number 4, how soon do you have to be there? Why is that important?
Motivation.
Motivation, okay? Gives you a time frame. Figure out exactly how much time you have. Do we need to really hurry on this? You know, what's critical about that time frame? Number 5, when I see you, how much do you want to list your home for? Okay? What kind of answers can you get from this one? When I see you, how much do you want to list your home for?
300,000.
Yeah.
Three.
They
So-
have a number
so-
in the back
so
of
a
their mind,
number.
even if they say they don't.
Okay, so they might say a number. What else might they say?
I'm relying on you.
I'm relying on you. Okay? But that really didn't answer the question, so what would we do? Because we want to answer that question, right?
I get the feeling that when Mike designed this, he really doesn't care about the answers to these questions so much as he wants to be asking the questions. Question,
Controlling the
question.
conversation.
He's in control,
Mm-hmm.
and it's saying but without saying that they need us.
Yeah, it's preparing them for our presentation. That's what this is about. So it's the same thing. So
Total psychology.
right, it's the same thing with anything that they pre-qualify. When you're doing your chiropractic stuff, would you even start working on somebody without pre-qualifying them? Well, why do we do that as real estate agents? Because we're working on their problem without really understanding their problem. This is understanding their problem so that we can actually come. This is helping us prepare for that presentation as we go for it. And it helps them understand the
Well, we
purpose of
kind
us
of want to
being
know
there.
what they're thinking. I mean, how much do you want to list your home for? Because when we prepare it, we want to know if we're going to be able to meet their expectation. And if we're not, then we need to be prepared to
super disappointing.
Yeah.
It could be super disappointing, yeah. Yep, I like that. Okay, so number 6, as a professional real estate agent, I study homes and prices every day. Therefore, I assume you'll list with me and a price that will cause your home to sell. Correct? This is one that I see skipped a lot. Why do you think this one's skipped?
Because you're talking about
Confidence?
talking about you confident.
Yeah.
You don't think you have the confidence to say you're a professional real estate agent.
So it's bringing it back to yourself on this particular sense.
And
It
when
also allows you to let them know that you're coming over as a professional.
And when you know that you're really going as like a CMA appointment, then this one's hard because you're hoping that you're gonna persuade them when you're there.
Yeah.
So you don't wanna say this because it's like giving away, hey, I have something I'm hoping to like trick you into doing when I get there.
Yes, I like that point. So number 7, so what price won't you go below? Why is that one important? April?
Well, just a thought on that whole thing. Sometimes people will say, well, we need you to tell us that. That's why we're having you over. And so one thing I tell people is I say, that's great. I need to have an idea of where you're coming from because I've prepared all of these comps, but sometimes I get there and if you're way off on the price from where I am, I need to be prepared with the right comparables to help you understand where the market is.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they'll give you a better answer.
Yeah, I like that. So for you, it sounds like everything is coming back to preparing them for your discussion, which I think is great. That's a great point there. Number 8, how much do you owe on the property? Okay, if you don't have rapport with the person on the phone, they are not going to probably tell you this answer. Okay, we really want to figure that out so that we're not wasting our time. When you get there, 2 things that can happen that can waste your time the most. One of the spouse is not there. And they say, oh, don't worry about it, I'll tell them, I make decisions anyway. And as soon as they say, I make the decisions anyway, you know they don't make any decisions at all. Basically, their way of giving themselves confidence, but yes, okay? And the other one is you find out that there is no money in there. Like they don't have the ability to pay it. They don't have the ability to sell the house. We don't run into that as much, and we probably will run into that more in the next couple of years where people just can't afford to sell their home. But you just have to be realize that if you go out and they can't do it, it becomes a condition. And a condition is one that wastes a lot of our time. Number 9, have you ever thought about selling it yourself? Now, I wouldn't suggest you ask that if you're visiting with a for sale by owner, because that would just kind of make you look silly. But otherwise, a lot of people don't like to ask this question. Why do you think they don't like to ask this question?
They don't want to put the thought in their mind.
Ideas in the head. Do you think there's anybody out there who hasn't had that idea in their mind?
I'm sure everybody considers it just because homies everywhere, or discount brokerages, and you can save money and all that stuff.
Also, it doesn't matter whether they say yes or no on this question. This is not a defining question on whether you go out on the presentation. It's a question that all we want to know is what we're gonna have to talk about when we get there. So if they say, yeah, actually I have thought about selling on my own. Perfect, great. Now you know when you go out there, you've got to separate yourself from the competition, other agents, and the competition for sell by owner.
Great value.
You've got to create value. Will you help finance the home for a buyer, or do you want your cash out? This one I see skipped off a lot, but a lot of times they don't know if that's an option. And sometimes that might make sense for somebody. Especially if the purpose for selling the home is because they want to have some cash if they're older and they're wanting to just have residual cash coming in per month. That might be an option for them. So if you don't understand this, you probably won't ask it. So my suggestion is figure out some seller financing on that. And then real quick, we can end, would you please describe your home for me? Why do I ask that question?
Personality style.
Personality style. Depending on how they answer, it's going to give me a personality style. If they're a certain personality, that's how I'm going to prepare my presentation. Now, I would prepare multiple personalities, just in case the spouse is different, or if they're frustrated on the phone and they're in some kind of a heightened personality, and then when you get there, all of a sudden they're more calm. You want to make sure you do that. Yeah. I'll be sending over a package of information. We take a few moments to review it. Who sends a package of information before they go over? One. Sort
This
of.
is like a half, yeah.
This is a half one. Like you send over half your information, or you half the time.
Sometimes I make it there.
Make it there.
So
April, you
Tim
do it?
showing up?
Okay. Okay. April, you see that as a benefit for you.
I thought it was funny.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
So first of all, I would suggest creating the packet, and then second, sending it to them. Okay. Last couple of questions. Do you have any questions before I write? Yeah.
Did
Go
you
ahead.
cover why we don't send it?
Why you don't send it?
Or why agents in general don't send it?
A lot of times they
Or why
don't.
Timber only sends half.
It's more of an organizational issue than a.
Jason knows. I will fess up to that.
A lot of
So
times we don't send it.
it's time.
We don't send it because we don't have it. We don't have it created.
We don't have confidence in what
Okay, we don't have confidence in what we're saying. Number two is we feel like if I send them something and they disagree with it, I'm not there to defend it. Okay, so if I send them the price and they don't like the price, and then they call up and they say, I don't want to list. I don't want you to come over. I don't like that price. You have no way of defending it. So we have those feelings in our minds. Remember, we're doing this because we're taking the emotions out of it. Okay, just set the plan and work the plan, and it'll work for you. Do you have any questions before I arrive? This will give you all the things that they want to know, and they might not have any questions right then. So ask them. So you know our meeting should take only between 5 and 25 minutes. Is that okay? Okay, who does a 5-minute, 25-minute presentation? Sometimes?
I mean,
Okay.
I always say that like my information will only take this long, but if you have a lot of questions I have to answer,
I'll set
that's
aside
kind
more
of
time.
on you.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I look at that one. Is, you know, if you're going to say I'm going to be there at 5, I'll be there for 5 or 25 minutes, and then, in fact, Dan, you and I were talking about this the other day, where it was like, and if you don't like what I have to say, you can kick me out at that point. Our presentation, if you just run through your presentation, isn't that long. You can run through the whole thing and get through everything in 25 minutes.
That's the point of sending your package as well.
Yeah.
Hey, can you please
Yeah,
do this
if you
before I
set
die?
set yourself up so you have a better presentation. So I hope that today it wasn't a waste of your time, that you can look at this pre-qual, make it part of it, but let's take the emotion out of it. This is how we take the emotion out of the presentation, because if it doesn't work out here, you don't have to waste the time. And it might suck, oh, I gotta get back on the phone, but at the same time, you'll go on better appointments. Would you rather go on 5 appointments and get 1, or 1 appointment and get 1?
1 and 1.
1 and 1. Yeah, let's count this
Do you
out.
want a 20%
Carry the
restoration?
one.
Yeah.
or
Yeah, so
100%?
just think about that. This is something we have to practice. It's something we have to make part of this, because if you're not comfortable with it, you will not use it. Okay? All right, let's in. Have a good Friday and a good weekend.
May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with
You
you
around today?
all day long.
Tomorrow's
Tomorrow's May 4th.
All right, here we go. I succeed because I
I'm not this. I like talking to people. I'm really smart. I'm really straight. I'm here than my mom. I'm passionate about real estate. I know the things in my grade school. I like asking questions. I enjoy reading the pleasure of it. My God, I'm going to go to staff to go. I work on my community. I prove myself. I have a lot of confidence to keep my business. I see my future cross. I love my life. I'm grateful. I control my feet. I'm weak in me. I know I'm right. I do my business confidence. I get good jobs. I'm trying to help you. I can follow me. I can understand. You love me. I love you. I'm just accountable. I lost my kid. I just wanted to see. I don't have to play. I achieve my goal. I'm a real estate officer. I'll pass it on my life. I live every day. I know my mission. I'm healthy and strong. I'm powerful. I was up. I can be out of the body. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
I need someone to show me the
Remember when I told you about I hadn't sat down in a meeting and my neck like something's hit me?
Do you want that up there?